It's time for you to stop believing the lies, guys. And I'm not talking about the lies of social media. I'm not talking about the lies of the media. I'm talking about the lies that you have allowed, whatever this is in your life, that you have allowed to be placed upon your life. Some of us right now, we are what we're not. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is we became something that we're not. Okay, and that's why it's very important to remind yourself of who you are. Remember who you are. I came out here today because there's things in my life that I realize that labels are being stuck upon my life and my heart that I am not. Personally, that the world tried to give me, that failure tried to give me, that people tried to give me. And some of us, what we do, we become the pain that other people give us. What we do is we become the depression that the world tries to give us. What we do is we become the insecurities that comparison of our life tries to give us. And we become that. And we start to feel less like ourselves. We start to feel not motivated. We start to feel not inspired. We start to feel depressed. And then you get this COVID-19 stuff that's going on, and it starts to attack our immune system, our mental health. And before we know it, we don't know who we are. Before we know it, we become something that we're not. And so many people in this world, they're living a life that's not theirs. And what I mean by that is that they're living the life that someone else gave them. They're living the life that pain gave them. They're living the life that depression gave them. They're living the life that a failed dream gave them. And they end up becoming that. That is not your identity, people. You got to get back to the core of your being. You got to get back to yourself. You got to understand your mental health. You got to understand your emotional well-being. You have to understand your thoughts. You have to understand what's going on in your body. All these things, becoming aware. You know, the thing that I see so much in this world, and just, listen, I'm not perfect, by the way. That's why I'm out here doing this, working on myself. But I see so many people that aren't aware, self-aware of themselves. They're not. They don't know how to deal with their emotions, which I'm not knocking anybody because I had to learn these things. They're not mindful of what they're putting in their body. They're not mindful of anything. We depend on the media. We depend on this world to take care of us. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not some conspiracy theory, but it's just facts. Ain't nobody going to take care of your life like you. You realize that. Ain't nobody going to take care of you. So if you're looking for somebody to save you, besides Christ, if you're a believer, if you're looking for somebody to save you, people ain't going to come save you. And we're expecting, like we're waiting for someone to come save us. You have to do your part in taking care of your life. You have to do your part in taking care of your mental health. I've said this a million times over the last month. This virus has the power to destroy you mentally before it ever touches you physically. There's millions of people that will be infected by this virus that will never test positive. How does that work, Trent? I'm not talking about the physical part of this virus. I'm talking about injected with fear. I'm talking about injected with worry. The unemployment rate is at an all-time high. So injected with stress, injected with sadness, injected with a lot of things that are destroying you mentally. And when you break down mentally, everything else breaks down. The reason why I fight for my mental health and come out here and run and work out, because I know I can control those things. I know I'm not going to allow these. Do I go through things? Do I worry? Do I stress? Absolutely. But I'm not going to stay in that place. So listen to me. I'm going to share these things with you. Do it if you want. If you don't want to do it, that's cool too. Simple. Okay. 3 things that you can do. Move your body. If you can't get outside, I understand the restrictions of certain areas, but as you see, nobody's around here with me. I'm in nature. All right, if you can't get outside, move your body in your household. You need to have some type of release. When stress comes into your life, when worry comes into your life, if you just sit on it and it has nowhere to go, it's going to consume you. And a lot of us, we're consumed with fear right now. And literally, you can research this. Fear weakens the immune system. It does. Worry weakens the immune system. These things make us even more susceptible to getting sick when we allow these things in our life. And so my question to you right now, because I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, when you start talking about self-responsibility, self-awareness, when you start talking about things that someone can do and taking control over your life, a lot of people don't want to hear it. And I get it, because it's a lot easier to blame. It's a lot easier to wait on somebody to do something for you. It's a lot easier to wait on the help. Stop waiting on the help and become your own help. Become your family's help. Step up to the plate. Easier said than done, I get it. But we're in a time where it's more crucial than ever to take care of your mental health, people. Please take care of your mental health. Instead of watching the news, right, pick up a book. Pick up some information about your immune system, about your body at a cellular level. Read information about that. What can you take right now to really boost your immune system? If you're not researching those things for your family, for yourself, then you're waiting on the world to save you, man. And I just want to be clear about that. Like, most people, the world don't owe you nothing for one. And most people ain't going to save you, especially in a time like this. So to wrap this up, stop becoming the labels that someone else gave you, because some of y'all are living a life that's not yours. You're walking a path that someone else put you on that's not meant for your life, because maybe somebody gave you pain, maybe someone gave you rejection, and then you add everything that's going on with this, and now you're walking in a fine path of depression. And you wonder why you're stressed, you wonder why your brain seems foggy, you wonder why you can't get out of this, and things like that. Control what you can control. All right, limit the inputs in your life. This might seem like some motivational mumbo jumbo stuff, but it's facts. Limit the inputs in your life. What do I mean by that? If it's not bringing peace to your life, if it's not bringing positivity to your life, if it's not bringing energy to your life, limit those inputs. Put a plug. Stop letting these things come into your life. Stop picking up your phone, watching the news that's injecting fear. Stop talking to friends that ain't doing nothing but worrying, that's injecting fear in your life. Those things aren't doing anything for you. Get around positivity. Get around meditation. Get around prayer. Get the right foods in your body. Well, let's not talk about foods. And I'm preaching to myself, by the way. Because this is a battle, and this battle isn't easy. It's not easy to better your life. Trust me. I'm not talking from a place like I have it all figured out. It's tough, but you got to fight for your life. You got to fight for your health. You got to fight for what you want. You have to fight for it. You can't just surrender to the pain. You can't just say, oh, this is how the world is, and so I'm just going to put my hands up. No, you got to fight for it. The reason why I exercise every day is not because I just want my body to look good. I'm fighting for my immune system. I'm fighting for my health. I'm fighting for my family. And I refuse to sit back and wait on somebody to give me some directions on the things that I can control. That's just facts. And a lot of people don't want to hear this stuff because a lot of people want to live in the BC mindset, blame and complain. A lot of people don't want to hear truth. They don't. And I get it. I understand. It's hard to hear it sometimes. It's hard to realize that, man, I can actually do something, and you can. And what you actually can do is really build your life with peace, because peace is something that will heal you. It will heal you. Nature heals. All right. So I just wanted to share that with y'all, man. I'm about to finish my run. If you got to the end of this and you really took something from this, hit me up on Instagram. Send me a DM and say, Trent, you know what? I'm going to protect my peace. I'm going to protect my mental health. I'm going to do what I can do. I'm not going to become the labels that this world tries to give me. I'm not going to operate in helplessness because the world is injecting fear in my life that's making me operate in helplessness. Like, I get being protective. Listen, I'm not against not being protective. I get all that. Like, we need to protect, do the right things, the guidelines, but I'm going to tell you something right now. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I'm about to get off of here. A mask might keep out the germs. Like, people, it'll keep out the germs. Well, most masks will. Some of these masks aren't keeping out nothing, by the way. But a mask might keep out the germs, but I promise you, it won't keep out depression. It won't. Soap will clean your hands, sure will, but it won't clear your mind. So as you're being very cautious about your physical health, as you should, make sure you're being very cautious about your mental health, as you should. All right? Limit your inputs. Be intentional about the inputs, the things that are being injected in your life, and use this time to become more self-aware than anything. Because if you're not aware of yourself, guess what? You're allowing outside things to control you and tell you how you should live life, tell you what you should do, who you should be. And a lot of us, we're getting information. Let me not get too deep. A lot of us have been getting information since we've been born about ourselves, and we become something that we weren't created to be. And we wonder why we feel disconnected, because we're living a life that's not ours. As humans, we're influenced humans. And if we're not careful, we're not self-aware of ourselves, if we have no emotional intelligence of our lives, we just become what everybody else wants us to become. And some of us, we look in the mirror and we don't recognize that reflection, or we don't have connection with that person in the mirror. It's because we became something that we weren't intended to become in the first place. Okay, so use this time to become very self-aware. Use this time to, when you get angry, where does that come from? When you get frustrated, when you get fearful, when you start comparing your life, where does that come from? I've done a lot of self-awareness in my life. I learned a lot of things about myself in this time of isolation, that some things I didn't want to learn, but I needed to learn. Some things I didn't even know that was there that I needed to dig up. Okay, so again, rip off the labels in your life. Get very self-aware, inform yourself. You know, I'm not trying to be Mr. Health Man, but like a lot of things that we're putting in our body, a lot of things, and I'm preaching to myself, guys. Like, I'm not, I don't have it all figured out yet, but I'm becoming very aware, and awareness is the first step, because when you're aware, when you're curious, then that leads you down the path, right, of change. Be very aware of what you're putting in your body. Some of us, we're doing things literally to weaken our immune system. right? From a mental standpoint and actually from a physical standpoint. And if we weaken our immune system, what does that mean? It means that we're more susceptible to getting sick. Think about it, man. Do your research, man. Love you guys. Protect your peace, protect your mental health. As always, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to check in you guys as much as I can, keep delivering as much as I can, and use this time to remind yourself of who you are, man. Who you are is greatness. Who you are is a warrior. You hear me? Who you are is a conqueror. Who you are is greatness. You hear me? Who you are is all of that stuff. You're not the fear. You're not the depression. You're not the stress. Yeah, that might be your identity for a temporary time because you believed it. But it's time for you to stop believing the lies about your life, man, and start believing the truth about your life. You feel me? He who is inside of you. All right? Remember who you are and whose you are. You better start operating. You better start operating like you serve an awesome God. Feel me? All right? Let's get it, y'all. I love y'all. Straight up.